Oh, Adam Schefter stoked the flames with an interesting rumor, really a prediction when it comes to the Chicago Bears. That's what we're going to talk about. Plus, another rumor later on in the show. This is Bears Now by Chat Sports. I am Harrison Graham. Before we dive in, we are going to do a new mock draft tomorrow because we picked up 50 new subscribers on our draft video yesterday. So, shout out to all of you. We go live every Monday and Thursday at 4 o'clock Central. So, be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and join us for that tomorrow. Are the Chicago Bears going to travel to Philadelphia and take on the defending champs on Thursday Night Football to kick off the 2025 NFL season? Well, the top NFL insider, Adam Schefter, certainly believes that could be the case. Here's what he had to say earlier this morning. He said, "The Chicago Bears, in my mind, become the matchup to watch for that Thursday night opener. Ben Johnson's first game in Philadelphia. The Bears looking to make a comeback in terms of getting back to being a more relevant team. It's not the marquee matchup that you're giving away early on when you're going to get the ratings anyway, like the Lions or the Rams, but it's a compelling enough matchup that everyone will be excited to see it. My guess is Bears at Eagles in the opener." Now, my initial reaction was, please, God, no, the Michael Scott classic from The Office. And, then I let it marinate a little more, and I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? This actually wouldn't be the worst thing in the world because, first off, when you look at Philadelphia, they're going to have a lot of new faces, right? Like, these are just some of their notable free agents. It's possible all 5 of these players are gone, certainly 3 or 4 of them, and 1 or 2 of them could even be on the Bears. I'm talking about Mekhi Becton, Zach Bond, Josh Sweat. Brandon Graham will either be an Eagle or he'll retire. He's still making that decision. Milton Williams, him and Sweat are going to get a lot of money. Bond and Becton could be in line for big paydays, certainly pay raises for the bargains that the Eagles got him last year. And also, you see that note below, the Eagles are going to have a new offensive coordinator. They just lost Kellen Moore. So you're talking about a lot of new things, moving parts. Could there be an early season Super Bowl hangover? That's always a possibility. And you'd probably rather play them sooner rather than later, right? Like these good teams that we know are going to be good, like the Eagles are going to be good next year. Would you rather play them in week 1 or would you rather play them in November? I'd probably rather play them in week 1. Remember a few years ago, the Bears got the Niners in week 1 at home, and they beat them. Obviously, the monsoon, a lot of things played a role in that. But I remember thinking at the time, I was like, actually, the Bears have a decent chance to win this game because, Kyle Shanahan's teams typically kick it into gear later in the season. You see that with a lot of these veteran teams that have playoffs and Super Bowl aspirations. Sometimes they start a little bit slow. And I could see that, not necessarily starting slow, but I could see at least the Bears having a puncher's chance in week 1, whereas maybe later in the season they wouldn't have a great chance. Now, these are the possible games that Philly could open up with. And full disclosure, for those who don't know, the defending Super Bowl champs always kick off the season at home. So that they will play one of these teams in week 1 at Lincoln Financial Field on that Thursday night opener. Obviously, the divisional opponents, Cowboys, Commanders, Giants, if they were to get Shedeur Sanders, those would all move the needle. The Bears, Lions certainly would. I really don't see a bad option there except for maybe the Raiders. But I think Schefter made a good point of like, sure, you could throw Washington in there or Detroit, and maybe that would be like a bigger headliner to start the season. But the Thursday night opener, you're going to get ratings no matter what, and the Bears are going to be compelling, and they're a big market. So I could see the NFL doing this, and they might want to save some of those NFC East divisional games for later in the season. Other primetime slots like Eagles, Commanders in Lincoln Financial Field, they might want to stash that for later in the season, which certainly wouldn't be a surprise at all. Now, if you're the Bears, obviously when you look at their schedule, not the week-by-week schedule, but who they're going to play this upcoming year, if they open up at home, they'll get one of these teams, obviously divisional opponents, Giants, Cowboys, Browns, Steelers, Saints. If they're on the road, certainly Philly in week 1 is on the table. But I still look at that Detroit game, like with all the Ben Johnson noise and all that type of stuff. I still do wonder, like Bears-Lions week 1, could that be in one of the other primetime slots or Fox afternoon on Sunday or Monday Night Football? I certainly think that could be on the board as a possibility, especially if the Bears have an explosive offseason, right? Like they're always going to draw because they're a big market, but let's say they add a big piece or two. I could certainly see them being in one of these primetime slots to kick off the season. But to circle back, if they do get Philadelphia in week 1, you're kind of playing with house money. Like I said earlier, no one's expecting you to win, but you would be catching them before maybe they kick into gear. Like even this year, Philly started 2-2 before they went on that crazy run where they only lost one game the rest of the season. So maybe, just maybe, catching them early would be a good thing, and you'd have a better chance to win. And even if you lose, well, 1, no one expects you to win, and 2, then you have 10 days to prepare for week 2. Like, if you're going to play on Thursday Night Football, the opener is actually the best opportunity to do it because you're not really at a disadvantage with the schedule because, A, your opponent's got the same thing, and B, you're not beat up, right? Like, it's not playing on Thursday Night Football in Week 10 when you've already played 8 or 9 games. So I'm actually all for this. I'm not, like, dying for it, but if it ends up happening, I'm not going to say, like, oh, whoa, me, let's just start the season off with an easy one. Bears had that last year, beat the Titans week 1, not like it made a difference in their season. So why not go let it rip in Philadelphia with really nothing to lose to kick off the season? So what say you? Would you be down to play at Philly in week 1? Type Y for yes, or you can type in for no. I'm in. Why not? Let's see what happens. Let's see if the Bears do end up getting this matchup. Now, today's show is sponsored by Mando. Fellas, Valentine's Day is just around the corner, and you want to impress, especially if it's a first date, and Mando is going to help you out. A non-negotiable before a first date or just a big date in general is deodorant. Well, how about whole body deodorant? That's what Mando offers with their several different products. I flashed their deodorant wipes on screen for you guys because they're very easy to use and dispose while on the go. Maybe you're out playing a round of golf, don't have time to get home and get a shower. Just get a couple of these wipes off, wipe from head to toe because it is safe to do so. You're going to be good to go. Mando is clinically proven to control odor for up to 72 hours with some of their products and better than a shower with soap alone. 12 hours after a shower, the average men's Grundle odor level was 5 out of 10. With Mando, that odor level is 0 out of 10. Mando will stop odor before it starts, as all products are baking soda free and paraben free. If you want to try America's #1 whole body deodorant formula right now, you can now find them in Walmart, Target, and other retailers across the country. For the best deals, go to shopmando.com as they're available in 4 cologne quality scents: Bourbon Leather, Mount Fuji, Pro Sport, and Clover Woods. The Mando starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, and 2 free products of your choice like the mini body wash or those deodorant wipes that I previously mentioned, plus free shipping. Special offer for our listeners: when they use code CHAT, it's going to get you $5 off the starter pack. So go to shopmando.com, that's shopmando.com, to get 40% off the shop starter pack today with our code CHAT. And please support our show and tell them that we sent you. That link and promo code in the comments and description of this video. Okay, I kind of wanted to just throw this on the back end. I saw Bleacher Report throw this out there. Could the Bears sign Joe Flacco, who's going to be 40 years old, clearly with the Colts when he got to play this year? Did not look the same that he did in Cleveland. He is not a starter at this point in his career. I don't even know if he's a high-quality backup, to be honest. But from a standpoint of, hey, veteran in the room, Super Bowl champion, someone who could help mentor Caleb Williams. These are things we kind of talked about last year. Remember, I kept beating the drum for Ryan Tannehill, but the Bears opted to not do that. I think they wanted to keep Brett Rippon, but that just didn't work out. Here's Brett Gagnon on this. He said the Bears need something more on the quarterback depth chart, ideally someone who can be relied on in the event that Williams has to miss time. I'd push back. I'd rather play Tyson Bagent, but that's neither here nor there. But also someone who could play a mentor-like role with Williams throughout his sophomore campaign. That one makes more sense. Joe Flacco comes to mind. Obviously, when you look at the Bears quarterback room, that is the one thing that doesn't exist. Like a guy who's been there, who's done that, who's played a lot in this league. Caleb's got the 1 season under his belt. Bagent's been in the league 2 years, and I like him as a backup, but he doesn't have a lot of that, experience, mentor type of stuff. Obviously, he's a voice for Caleb, as all backups are, but there's certainly not a Joe Flacco in the room. And I do wonder, like, will Ben Johnson want to go this route? Will he want to have a different approach than the Bears did last year and bring in, forget the name, whether it's Joe Flacco or anybody else, someone who's no threat to be a starter but has played in this league and can offer guidance for your young quarterback? I do wonder if that'll be the case. Now, I will say this would have made more sense last year, to be honest, especially when the Bears started going through their struggles and losing games. Like, it would have been valuable to have someone in that room to, just be a voice, just be a soundboard for Caleb Williams and the young players on this team that to maybe calm the waters amidst all of the chaos. I'm not sure it's really necessary this year. I'm not against it, but I do think last year it would have made more sense. Now, here are 10 names that are just out there, and there's other guys too, like the Jameis Winstons of the world, but those felt like more bridge options. These are guys who would be clear backups. Like, at this point, they're not starters. Joe Flacco, Jacoby Brissett, Marcus Mariota, who I think was a good sounding board for Jaden Daniels this year. Andy Dalton, who's been here before, Jimmy Garoppolo, Josh Dobbs, shout out to my guy Sam Loctera, Teddy Bridgewater, who I assume he's going to go back to coaching that high school in Miami, but I'm not sure that's been announced, but obviously the connection to Ben Johnson in Detroit. Taylor Heineke, Mason Rudolph, Brett Rippon, if they wanted to bring him back. He's a free agent as well. Again, no threats to start at this point, because the last thing you want is to get like a legitimate bridge, and if Caleb struggles, you just create that chaos. Like, it needs to be clear that Caleb is the face of the team, or at least like the franchise quarterback. Like, you don't want to create that. But if they wanted to bring in a veteran that's not going to cost much money, I'm not against it. Is it necessary in year 2 for Caleb? I'm not sure, but I don't think it's ever really a bad thing either. Now, what say you? Should the Bears add a veteran mentor quarterback? Type A for add or P for pass. Give us your thoughts down in the comment section below. I'm kind of indifferent. I don't want them to spend like notable money on it. Like, to me, like $3-4 million bucks at most if you're going to go this route. But I could really take it or leave it if I'm being completely honest. Okay, that's going to do it for Chicago Bears Now. We'll be back with another episode later this afternoon, so stay tuned for that and bear down.